Good morning, everyone. It is a lovely Saturday, the sun is shining, and we are here in Wrocław, Poland for day 2 of EMUCC 2022, the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. It's Benjamin Rees, alongside, as always, the wonderful Rahel Toshnerova, and we're bringing you action from the Open Masters division to kick things off today with XL Masters from Brussels in Belgium, up against Goldfingers Ultimate Club from Potsdam in Germany. And as you're looking at the teams, by the way, Goldfingers are not the team wearing gold.
What a surprise, straight out in the first game to keep us on our commentator toes. We had 6 games yesterday. There are 6 more games coming today. The weather seems like it will be slightly warmer than yesterday. We had some wind, so we're yet to expect that as the air is nice and calm. Everyone seems pretty ready after the pre-game spirit circle, which has become a standard at all European tournaments. Quite a useful little thing when you want to meet a new team or even discuss some of the previous experiences you've had with the other teams that you played against.
Especially when you come from slightly different ultimate cultures, so to speak, against players that you wouldn't really play against that often. It's nice to kind of set those ground rules, give feedback that you've had from previous teams perhaps, and yeah, it can help mean when the pool does go up, as it will now, things are a little bit easier. And it will be XL from Belgium starting the game on offense.
So standard match D and pretty great work downfield. That's Morvan. Returns to this to Gatinon. Gatinon fakes the dump pass but goes for the break side to De Vintre. Vatelet. And a deep shot goes up into the far corner of the end zone, and it's collected safely by the XL Masters. First point on the scoreboard.
Nice clean hold to begin the game. That's always what you want for only actually the second, no, hang on, that's not how maths works. Only the third game of the weekend actually for XL Masters. In the first game yesterday, they went down 15-12 to silence, version 3.3 from the Czech Republic. They didn't have a game in the second game slot. With 7 teams in the division, there's always a team getting a game off. Theirs was yesterday. In their last game of the day, they lost another tight one, 15-12 to Hardfish Masters. For Goldfingers, 15-10 lost to Uprising in their first game before a 15-11 loss to Hardfish, and finished the day with their first win on the board, a 14-12 victory over Wizards Grand Crew. That I think shows just how evenly matched a lot of the teams in this division are. That ball I think is going to land out of bounds, and you can see that the brick is signalled, and that'll give Matthias Roth a chance to bring the disc in from the brick mark.
I'm not going to lie, Benji. I'm going to struggle to cheer on this Goldfingers Ultimate Club. The mullets are just a not example to set for the kids.
Hey, it's coming back, that's what I've heard. Fischer finds Fryer, working its way down the near side now, the disc in the hands of Cruces. Trying to sneak that one in there, might be a little bit of fancy footwork, couldn't quite milk it in, but doesn't need to, because the next pass goes right into the zone, and a nice, clean hold there for the XL Masters, for Goldfingers against XL Masters, to make it 1 apiece. Both sides coming out fit and firing.
You ran away from them bullets way too quickly. We have some juniors on our team that are seriously considering them now, and I just can't have people on the stream setting an example.
Hey, the thing is, right, do I like a mullet? No. Would I rock the mullet? Also no. But there are parts of the world where the mullet has unfortunately already come back into fashion. I'm looking at you, Australia. Seriously, why would you think this is okay?
So okay, we're gonna blame it on the Aussies. That's kind of what we do anyway.
I mean, these are players of a certain vintage, you know. Why not play that up a little bit with your choice of hairstyle? Because I mean, there are a lot of mullets out there. I wonder if are they doing it just for the tournament, or is this like a lifestyle choice?
We're going to find out for you during the halftime. Gatineau will pick up the disc for XL Masters, take it in the middle, and another classic horizontal setup. A big gainer. Gatineau gets the disc straight back.
Yeah, Capolazzo was wide open for a while, but they couldn't do anything with that.
The Sass. Gatineau getting every second disc. Tries to take the deep shot. This was a bit unclear. And a first turnover of this game with the run through D.
Yeah, it's Ali Saipka, based in Berlin but playing with Potsdam here, who gets the D down that far sideline. Still count rising, had to take an opportunity to try and force a throw into a tight window, and Saipka made him pay for it.
So our friend Felix will be excited to see the Germans set up in a nice hex.
It's something that they are known to do, and they're given the opportunity to set up this deep shot here, but this throw is floating and sailing, and maybe a little bit of contact as they crowded underneath the disc. But it's Thomas Berg who read it really well and scores the game's first break to put them 2-1 up. And as he scored, it feels like a good opportunity to say hello to his soon-to-be wife and his almost there baby as well.
Aww,
isn't that sweet?
So sweet.
I'm told it's sweet. I don't really understand it, but
I do.
But
I
good
feel
for you.
you. I feel you.
This is
In case the baby doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, I'll be definitely willing to adopt. So just, you know, send them over. Czech Republic is a nice place to be. Anyway, anyone out there who just wants to get rid of their kids right now, I'd be more than willing to have them for a bit.
I've got 12 at home. Do you want them? I'm joking. Just want to talk about how that hex setup worked for them, because they had Loeffler starting in a deep position, coming underneath into that almost isolated, we used to call it the hat space in the middle of that kind of hexagonal sombrero. You know, the deep cutter coming off that. The cut is getting it in the middle of the park with plenty of space around. Time to look up and pick that shot, and Loeffler got it spot on there to Thomas Berg for the game's first break.
So XL Masters find themselves on offense again. That's Morvan with the disc. They find Use in the middle. Use. A nice break towards the middle.
He was looking for it, but he found it in the end.
Belgians knocking on the doorstep, taking it easy with a dump. Oh, and an overhead throw. Safely, almost safely, I was going to say, in the hands of the receiver, but the basket had a hole in it after all, and that's an unfortunate turnover for the Belgians.
Yeah, worms its way out of Nguyen's grasp. See it again here on the replay. Gets the dump, thinks about the hammer, and then with that vertical set in the end zone, sees that the space is there to be attacked, goes for it, and it just couldn't quite get it to stick.
We're going to quote our new commentator edition, Corey. You have to fake a hammer to make a hammer.
Nice. Someone's been doing their revision. Out towards this near sideline, the long lean figure of Rotz finds Ulig. Getting it off the line nice and quickly. Isolation towards the far side, finds Becker. This one always rising, and I don't think he's going to get a shot at that on the second opportunity. Nagari, if anyone, was closest, but he knew that he didn't have to pick it up with it just sailing out onto that far sideline.
A bit too high for Fischer. Vitala now picks up for the Belgians. Finds an open receiver in the middle of the field who immediately returns the disc. Now it's Morvan. Looking for the dump. Gets it eventually from Legari. Ooh! And a saucy poach D doesn't get there just on time, doesn't get there quite on time, and that's a score for XL Masters.
Guidino was happy with that one, I think. He saw the opportunity. We've seen him try and access that break side with the hammer previously, and this time thinks, maybe I'll shelve that one for the moment and go for that around backhand. As you mentioned, nearly got that block from the defender running through, but couldn't close the gap in time. Going to see it again now on the replay. Faking the hammer there. Doesn't like it. And then Guidino gets Cruces to come quite a way round on the force and just about threads it through that window to the Finn, Emiko Vitala. There's a strong international flavour, actually, to this XL Masters side. Brussels is quite an international cosmopolitan city, so players from Argentina, Belgium, Italy, France, the Netherlands and Finland. Nice international flavour there. And Guidino, who threw that previous assist, started playing in Paris, but has also played quite extensively in Australia as well.
Wow. Hence the confusion with the pronunciation of the names of the players, which we will improve throughout the game.
Fingers crossed.
Goldfingers crossed.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah, I'll give you that one. So again, Goldfingers, with it just coming in from the brick mark, rotating that hexagonal shape slightly. Here's Berg, caught the game's first break. Nice little lefty onto this near sideline. Loeffler toes the line, gets it back up that line to Berg. Now Berg with the inward pivot all the way across the field, and maybe didn't get his feet quite set properly. Went down to the ground to make the catch, but Torsten Berger couldn't get it to stick in that claw.
And a good chance for the XL Masters to get the disc, get the break they lost so early on. They fake the big throw, don't take it. Now the open side is quite taken, so they go with a hammer. A nice grab from Van der Stappen.
Yeah, was reaching over his head, and that was a really tricky read. Took advantage of the fact that they were trying to switch those up, and it left that poacher over the far side. Hammer's a great way of accessing that space.
Vatalet finally finds Capellazzo in the middle of the field. A foul called somewhere downfield.
Really enjoying watching this Goldfingers defense. There's so much communication going on, constantly trying to pick up switches and brackets and pass players off. So find it really interesting to watch as XL are going to take a timeout here.
Knowing how crucial it is to convert this one, not to let the Goldfingers pull away quickly.
A little over 10 minutes into this game. It's an entertaining watch, I think. There's from a strategic perspective, it's nice to see two teams approaching the game slightly differently. We've had some spicy throws and some good catches as well, some really nice passages of play, and it's shaping up to be a really lively opener, I think, on day 2 here at EMUCC.
Side Murphy, and then floats that one out. Huge bid, gets the touch. What a grab! DV!
If, like me, you are very intrigued by the London invite, you can find links to buy tickets in the description of our YouTube videos. And if you can't make it all the way over there, maybe because you are in Limerick for the World Masters Club Championships, then you can watch all the coverage on ULTI.TV as usual. I will find a way to see if I can double dip with both of them. Which, to be honest, you could also be doing right now, because as well as us, which I highly recommend you have on the big screen with volume right up, you could, you know, put Tom's Tourney on a second screen as well. It's the weekend. Be decadent. Live a little.
No, Benji. We want them to watch just us. There is an interception on the field.
Well, the curse of the turnout strikes immediately that time. On the end zone line already now, Goldfingers. That play did not work at all, and they squeeze it in this near sideline. And you may not like the haircuts, but the defense is pretty hot. It's a 3-2 lead.
That's right. They waste no time after the turnover, and I'm gonna attribute that score to the unpreparedness of the XL Masters. regarding the hand dominance of the Goldfingers players, because that was clearly a break side throw, and it was a lefty backhand. So that's something you need to know in advance. You need to be aware of who you're guarding, and like that will save you so much time and energy. We'll see the turnover here again.
I mean, listener, I think is intentionally, he's kind of sitting off that a little bit slightly, trying to take the inside line so he can snaffle that one away. And again, you draw up this play off a timeout, and then very first throw, it's right in the opposition's hands, and mentally, it can take a while to have that adjustment, I think.
So one more chance for XL Masters. This time having to score the point themselves. Not letting the game slip away. Quick return passes to the handlers. Now they're in the middle, looking for an opportunity. That's Legari. High disc, 2 players underneath it, but it will be XL Masters who come down with it. A nice, probably a slightly unexpected curve on that disc, but luckily to the advantage of the team in gold.
A slightly unorthodox shot, I would have said, but then, of course, if your teammate, you know, you've got that chemistry, you're expecting that, and so actually, it's easier to read, and it much more likely of catching the opposition off guard, perhaps.
I agree. So, XL Masters stay in the game despite the tight Goldfingers offense, and as they have let themselves slip a little, giving the Goldfingers 1 break at the start of the game, they will now have to push that much harder.
Yeah, XL Masters 0 for 2 so far on the weekend, whereas 1 win out of 3 for Goldfingers, but don't let the results fool you, because these are 2 very good and very evenly matched teams, at least from the first few points. That's what it seems. Here's Ulig, and a miscommunication. One player left it for the other, and another drop for Nguyen, his 2nd of the game.
Very unfortunate. That could have been an excellent opportunity to get the quick score.
So with the get out of jail free card seemingly played for Goldfingers, what can they do with it? They're moving the disc quickly, zipping it around, getting those handlers running through, and he sits himself down there, does Seibke. Now into the middle to Ulig. Listener with a little pop to Becker. Becker perfectly in stride for Goldfingers. When this offense is clicking, they've had a couple of miscommunications, but the disc moves so quickly and freely. It's really fun to watch.
I think both teams are trying to kind of do that in a sense that the disc goes towards the middle, or you know, for an up pass, downfield pass, sorry, and then they just immediately return it to the handler. The handler swings it, changing the point of attack. Really good, quick offense. We saw the defensive efforts of the Masters there again. There were 2 players, unfortunately either one of them in the ideal position to get the D, and the throw curved nicely over them both. So, like you said, Benji, it's good, quick offense, fun to watch. I could learn a thing or two, I think.
Yeah, but it's not as fun as just picking it up and jacking it, is it?
If I'm not the person who has to return the disc to the handler, if I'm the disc receiving the handler in order to chuck it, then it's fine.
All right, fine. Yeah, here we go.
So, XL Masters find themselves on offense again, opening up the game, the point with a beautiful inside pass. And look at that, just 3 passes later, they end up in the end zone.
And the quality of the ultimate in this game is top notch. Generally, you know, there've been a couple of errors, but it feels like as a whole, the game's moving really quickly. The offense is flowing freely. It's helped by the conditions. It's the wind that we had yesterday. You know, there's a little bit of a whisper of wind, maybe nothing too strong. The sun's out. It's, you know, high teens, low 20s temperature-wise. Brilliant quality fields. In terms of, like, this is the proverbial fast track. If you want to play, you know, good, you know, quote-unquote good quality ultimate where you move the disc quickly. You know, this is not the sort of conditions where you punt and play defense. This is an ultimate player's conditions, and it's brilliant to be here.
100% Benji. I didn't even realize until you said it, but that's why it looks so good, because the conditions are just perfect. Sideline commanding the Belgians to apply more pressure on the defense.
It's one of those things that easier said than done a lot of the time, especially when the disc moves quickly. Expansive flake there from the mulleted Fischer towards the sideline again. Nice toe tap from Loeffler, squeezing in down the sideline where they can, but now trying to pivot inward to access the centre of the field. Takes that slightly diagonal dump, goes to Fischer, just about sneaks that one through, little pop off to the handler, dials the far sideline. There are two players there, goal signalled. Again, brilliant offence from Goldfingers to take the 5-4 lead.
I think Van der Stappen really tried to get that switch there and close off the break side, but either there was a miscommunication or it wasn't just clear enough, or he didn't get there quick enough, and it ended up in a score.
This is a really good game. Like, if you want to watch people who love that offhand backhand, just with the mark a little bit overset to the around, utilising that inside channel. If you want to watch players who are experienced and know what they're doing, run an offence that they are supremely comfortable with, I mean, this is that game for you. They look just so in tune with each other, I think.
I just had to laugh at the thing when you said that applying pressure on defense is easier said than done. Do you mean like when they tell me not to poach and I tell them that I'm just keeping a good buffer?
Yeah. It's like when someone says, when you're on the force and someone from the sideline says no breaks. It's like, well, I mean, yes, that is generally the force's job. How can you be more constructive with that?
So Marwan will. Oh, that was a bit too hot on the mark there. A foul will be immediately called uncontested.
Yeah, good. I mean, obviously, you'd rather not commit the infraction in the first place, but not contested and good hand signals. Yeah, he goes to just set up the force and completely swipes it out of Sass's hands.
Sass gets it back to Gatineau. Gatineau finds a teammate in the middle. Tried to move quickly, but it seems to be taking slightly longer, but then is a nice deep shot. Again, that difficult curve, but this time neither the defender nor the receiver can read it.
I think it's Koen de Winter who's maybe the closest target. And he sees where the handler is, so he's looking over his left shoulder. But with the arc, he's got to be looking over his right there, because it's so difficult for him to track the disc, because he sees it so late.
I think it might have been Gatineau feeling the pressure of the offense not flowing as smoothly as in the other points, and just decides for that deep shot.
Yeah, Thomas Berg particularly was doing a brilliant job on the force, getting the player activating from this near sideline, cutting into the middle. Now towards the far side is Berg. Berg dumps back to the Venezuelan, Cruces. So a little bit of international flavour on Goldfingers as well, but the hand block will get it back for Sass and XL.
Unbelievable how a small mistake like releasing your backhand too slowly is punished immediately.
And maybe just being a little bit casual with that pivot, not utilising the full width of movement to try and maybe get on that throw and go a little bit more quickly.
De Winter hides the disc behind his back as there's another game stoppage.
Pick downfield from what I can get from
the pumping hand signals.
Absolutely.
De Winter gets it to the open side. Oh, and another layout in the end zone, just out of reach of the receiver. This time it was Gatineau.
Yeah, I think tried to take a little bit off that, but still didn't quite get that touch and that float. You almost want to really whip that disc, get those revolutions going through, put that little bit of backspin almost, and to his credit, he put his body on the line, he got his hand there, just couldn't quite close it in time, wouldn't stick into those tacky gloves.
I think this might be the problem with playing such good, tight, aggressive D, is to be able to change that setting to something much calmer and collected for the O afterwards.
Yeah, making that transition in attitude from offense to defense, where you're all amped up to try and get the turn, and then all of a sudden you've got to be calm as anything, is an interesting balance, an interesting line to try and toe, as this time Thomas Berg, I think, is going to try and aid that transition, give them a bit more chance to make that mental reset by taking the time out here. And I think that's a good opportunity for us to do the same, but I highly recommend you do not go anywhere, because this cracking game to watch will continue after these messages.
Hey, my name is Milan. I'm on my way to Poland to film EMUCC with Double C. I'm doing operations, driving the kit to the locations. I'm doing financial stuff. I'm doing editing, producing live productions as well for you. And with your help, we can do a better job at delegating, maybe. Or we can do a better job at providing more fields, or having more coverage. Having a person run around and film the most exciting games at each event next to the live stream. We can do that because of your help on Patreon. Get on board. Thank you.
Just seeing a couple of highlights from this first half of this first half here on ULTI.TV's coverage of the EMUCC, the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. Open Masters action first thing in the morning here in Wrocław, Poland, with Goldfingers from Potsdam in Germany up against XL Masters from the Belgian capital Brussels. Goldfingers a break up so far, 5-4, and they have the disc coming off this timeout. We've seen XL Masters take a timeout of their own this half, and they threw it straight to their opposition. Goldfingers will be hoping to avoid the turnout trap. Nice diagonal comes under from this near side from Cruces. Getting the disc in motion nicely. Berg on the sideline, right in front of the camera. Brilliant break, manipulating the mark around there. Gets it back to Becker. Lerbica, nice little dishing and give going, keeping the disc moving quickly. Often the freest player is the player who's just unleashed the disc, and Goldfinger seems to be using that effectively, and that's a lovely throwing the receiver open there, just putting it into that space. Lerbica saw it the same way and made the cut, and Goldfingers have the game's second break to take a 6-4 lead.
What a frustrating point for XL Masters there. They knew that it was important to convert this O point. I think lost the disc twice. For the second time, Goldfingers take the timeout to collect themselves, and it pays off. XL Masters not doing a bad job on the defense, but somehow Goldfingers always find either the break side or some kind of quick pass that they can get through, and it pays off. And 2 breaks in this game could be a start of the end.
It's keeping the stall count low. Then it's never getting above 3-4. Continually moving the disc, tiring out the slightly older legs that you get in the Masters division. But so far, maybe the first half, a tale of 2 timeouts. XL took theirs, and Goldfingers immediately pinched it afterwards and went up the other end and broke. But with Goldfingers, they were able to kind of calmly walk it down the field for the game's second.
We have Gatineau with the disc in the middle. Usse. Ooh, a contested catch on the sideline. And the last throw, we see the receiver, Gatineau, quite annoyed that that pass was taken when clearly the defense was way too close.
Yeah, did like seeing the 2 of them, you know, slapped hands like, yeah, we got that one wrong, but let's go again. Let's try and win the disc back, generate the turn and put this point in. Just trying to set that one into space. Almost invited Gidenol for that little poach block, but in the end, it's going to be, a travel here. It's going to just send the disc back into the hands of Zalewski, I think. Another mulleted hero. Here's Vega. Into the centre of the pitch, and the receiver was on his heels.
Donka slot with a run through D to save the day for XL Masters for now.
Yeah, was ready and waiting for it.
Use picks up for the Belgians. Short on options, goes with an easy backhand to Legari, and Legari immediately a flick to the end zone for the score. Masters stay alive.
Yes, 6-5, just a 1 point down for XL now. Also, during the warm-up, XL were wearing their quote-unquote dark jerseys. Again, it's mostly gold and kind of transitions to a very dark brown further up. What do they do if they come up against a team who also plays in, like, gold?
I wouldn't really call this gold, Benji.
What would you call it?
It's a very beige, like yellow.
It's too dark to be beige.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's very much a...
You're not a fan?
I can imagine a slightly better gold, but what I'm not a fan of are the small numbers.
Yes.
I do prefer the Goldfingers ones. I apologize, Belgians.
No. From a commentary legibility point of view, we want big, large numbers right in the middle of the back of the jersey. So Goldfingers, they're a little bit smaller and kind of slightly set up towards the right.
Yeah, and with names, please. And also, when you throw it to someone, just yell out their name. Like, it's not a big deal. You know them.
Yeah, just do the commentary. Just, narrate what you're doing. Looks underneath, thinks about the deep shot, but doesn't want it. But really, in the back of his mind, he does. Oh, well, this...
Wouldn't that be lovely? Then we would just need a nice mic over the pitch.
I see no way this can possibly go wrong. Coming underneath the ever-reliable Fischer. Centering pass. Goes down well to make that catch. Yeraush, but his pass hits the turf.
And we're in for a treat. XL Masters with another opportunity to break. Get one of them 2 valuable breaks back quickly. Start off with a break side throw. De Winter. Faking and pivoting. Can't find the dump. Does eventually. Use. A long swing. Ooh! Tipped off by Use. And that is super unfortunate. You can see him clearly disappointed with that missed catch.
Full commitment from Cruces. He's, but I don't know if he needed to do that in the end, but he could. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Use could hear the footsteps there, saw him or heard him coming. And that put him off a little bit. Goldfingers back on offense. Nice little lefty into the middle. Dish off to Fischer. Back to Cruces, who likes this give-go style. He likes the dribbling, constantly pinging the disc back and forth. You can see why he fits well in this offense and in this setup. Here's Fischer to the aforementioned Cruces. Trying to find an option. There's a pick downfield that no one's noticed.
I think that was before the throw.
I think it was comfortably before the throw.
But that is a slight disadvantage of that give-and-go offense and lots of dribbling, that when they get in front of the end zone, all of a sudden you kind of stop and pause and you want to try to squeeze it in, and then you have a few more, there's just not as much space, and you have a few players behind you, and it's hard. Before they communicate who's going to go first, you can get into a situation where there's a bit too much going on around the disc.
I think this is a problem. Yeah, you're right, and you see it in lots of offences as well, that when you get near the end zone, you're so focused on that one scoring shot that we see there to Lerbica catching the goal, that often you think, actually, you forget that there's all this space behind you, and if you really focus on working that dribbling give-go style, actually, if you want to get the offence back in motion again, you might be better off going backwards, A, to give your players downfield a chance to set up, and B, so you're getting that motion element back into your offence and getting it on the run again.
Exactly, but who wants to go backwards? I feel you all on the field. I think I was
just going to say, the thing about going backwards, right, is it means you can throw it further forward.
I know. Oh, yeah. I need to change that in my head. You want to coach me, Benji?
No, not really.
That's unfortunate. I think the only difference between those two teams that have showed us so far an excellent game is really that XL Masters just have a few more individual errors, such as, you know, that missed catch or that little throwaway or that break that they let slip through.
Yeah, they're not far behind, but it's just a little bit slicker, I think.
Yeah,
from
and
the Germans
Goldfingers
so
just
far.
punishing everything. But I think Usain in that last point will need to recollect himself on the sideline quite hard mentally.
Yeah, it's a play that I think, if he watches it back, think it was possible for him to make. But we've all made mistakes, and it's not necessarily about that. It's about how you pick yourself up.
Oh, great grab
Wow.
from Legari, who almost throws it away, but it is saved by Guinodor.
Visionary.
So, Masters stay alive. Try to move the disc quickly, doesn't go as smooth, but the Saz has the disc in front of the end zone. He's got the last pass, and this time finally the layout pays off as the disc lands in the hands of Gatineau.
That's much more like it from XL Masters. I mean, yes, let's not beat around the bush. They did get they got a fair slice of the fortune pie on that one, but from that, tried to get back in trying to get it moving again, and that's what we talked about near the end zone. Didn't necessarily focus on scoring. We'll see it again here. Defender gets in the way, but that's a brilliant focus grab from Guinodor. Full credit for that. And you see again here near the end zone, rather than focusing on just going straight in, just the offload to the handler coming through, and then this roll curve on the blade around, lays out for the snag. Brilliantly done from Gatineau. And XL Masters just 1 point behind.
I think the Legari throw, I think that was exactly what we talked about earlier, where he was just running so hard and being so hyped up about the game, and then made a nice grab and then wanted to throw that straight away quickly, and there was just, you know, too much on it.
Just too much.
Too eager
That's
to
the
move
word.
forward. So Goldfingers will go the other way. XL Masters sticking with Match D to push and force another break out of this team.
But so far, Goldfingers looking relatively unflustered on this offensive possession. Dish back to Fryer, lovely sitting, rolling, break into space here for Fischer. Back into the centre. I like the way they're using the width of the pitch. Nice little flash to stop that dump there from Vitala, the Finn. Now goes towards his near sideline. Oh, player falls over and stays on the ground so he doesn't get in the way as it finds Fischer outside the end zone. Oh, that's a really nice rising catch quickly. Made that look a lot more easy than it was. Trying to find a reset, still count rising under tight pressure in a mini window. Gets it off to Fischer, who puts it back into the end zone for the goal, and Goldfingers will take an 8-6 half-time lead here.
I think there was a clear confusion on what the force was, because the markers switched the side last second, and then the players downfield, defenders downfield, were out of position. So a bit more composure. The XL Masters will have some time to talk over their tactics to maybe clean up those little mistakes that separate them from the level of Goldfingers in the first half.
This game is certainly by no means out of their reach. As you mentioned, just clean a couple of things up, see if they can find another tool in their defensive toolbox, perhaps to try and slow down this Goldfingers offense that really moves at pace when it's all clicking. But there is still plenty of life left in this game, so I highly recommend you join us for the second half, which continues in just a couple of minutes.
Stay tuned.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
become a member, and
find
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Hi, this is Vest. Me and my camera have been covering Ultimate Frisbee since 2012, and now I've been working with ULTI.TV, streaming Ultimate Frisbee for you. And if you become a patron member, we can offer you more contents, especially those games that they are not live stream and they're happening at the end of the game. Half of it I can move and go in there and stream live. So become a member, go on ULTI.TV.
Welcome back to Wrocław, Poland. EMUCC, the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. It is a spectacular Saturday morning here in Poland, bringing you a high-tempo, fast-paced game from the Open Masters division with XL Masters from Brussels, Belgium, up against Goldfingers from Potsdam in Germany. It's Benji Rees alongside Rachel Toshnarova.
Hi, Benji.
It's been a fun first half.
It's been a fun first half. It could have been a tiny bit tighter if it wasn't for the few tiny little errors that the XL Masters let slip. But I'm really hoping they will step up their game a tiny bit in the second half, and I'm not going to say it, but we will have a tight game on our hands, yet another one.
Yeah, another thing going in Goldfinger's favour is that they've got opportunity to go 2 for none here. They had a nice clean hold going into half-time, and then coming out of half-time, they're coming out on offence as well. So, an opportunity to really create a bit of separation between themselves and their Belgian opponents.
So, for those of you who have just joined, Goldfingers is not the team in gold. That will be the XL Masters. Goldfingers are the team with the mullets.
Which you're still not a fan of, I take it.
That is correct.
You'll get there. You will come to appreciate the way of the mullet. It's so much more than just a hairstyle. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. I'm going to sneak into their bedrooms at night and cut it off.
I was going to say, get the clippers.
So as the teams prepare for the second half, we saw huddles on both sides discussing the strategy for the second half of the game. We saw a bit of throwing to keep warm and ready. Sun has properly come out. We haven't had this much sun yesterday, so it seems like we have a really nice day on our hands. We've already said perfect conditions for Ultimate.
Do you want some breaking news, by the way?
Of course.
If you want to have a recap of the action from yesterday, well, not only are all the games up for free on demand,
for free?
Always for free, but our day one highlights package is live as well. Our little editing gremlin, aka Dom Collins, back in Oz, has got the highlights out for day one, and you can watch those on the ULTI.TV YouTube channel.
Not all bad things come from Australia. Some of our highlight videos come from there.
Yeah, but also mullets.
So Goldfingers back on offense after the half, and we immediately see XL Masters coming out in a zone, so changing up the defensive look.
I like it. They weren't able to force pressure consistently enough on the Goldfingers, so, why not change things up, see if it works. Ulig this time finds a nice expansive blade down that far sideline, comfortably towed in, and then running right free is Robert Fruit It took them a little bit of time maybe to transition into how they wanted to set up slightly differently. But in the end, that nice blade down the sideline really uncaught things. And Robert Fruit did an excellent job of following that up into the front of the end zone for the goal. And also, thanks, Robert, for spell your name how it sounds, like the English word fruit. I mean, that is as easy as you can make it for us. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Also, a little reminder that if you are putting the pronunciation version of your name in the info for the commentators, don't forget you have 2 names. We do understand that you would like to be called Billy on the stream. But when you really think about it, is that how we're going to grow our sport professionally? Don't worry, we're going to take care of the unprofessional stuff as well. And you can still give us your last name and the pronunciation of it.
So Coach Kim Giedson of Goldfingers standing in front of me seems pretty happy with how that first half has gone.
And XL Masters with lots of pressure on that catch. I think Marvan was really thinking about whether he was going to call a foul. There was a lot of pressure, but they will talk it out.
Niels Lerdecker is the defender.
We will have a replay of that. So we see lots and lots of pressure. Really hard to say how much that could have affected the catch, but the players will talk it out, and it's going to be a contested foul. So the disc goes back to the thrower.
Yeah, I want to keep the game moving at pace, have a discussion. Okay, we don't agree, that's fine. Slap hand, send it back, and let's play Frisbee again.
I'm not going to lie, this is a situation where it's so difficult to admit that this wasn't maybe what affected the catch. It's such a difficult situation to put your team in this kind of, it's 9-6. You really can't afford another break here. So now we have Gatineau working with other handlers. They find somebody in the middle of the field. They try to swing the disc back, and this time a turnover from what seemed to be a hand block.
Yeah, Matthias Oert, he's kind of put the hand in the way just to see if he can, stop the throw going. But the throw went, and his hand was right there. Here's Goldfingers back on offense now, trying to extend this advantage that they've gained.
And now X-Masters have to run for their life. They really, really cannot afford another break here.
Down the sideline, here's Selewski. Chris says to Oert, who got that maybe slightly unexpected D. Oh, there's a player down.
I think this will be a pick call as the 2 XL Masters collided in the middle of the field there.
Yeah, I was worried for a little bit that it might be something even more untoward, but merciful. Oh, yeah, that is that'll do it.
So a little quick discussion about what the tactics after the tap-in should be, which is actually not allowed under the rules, but we all have sinned.
I mean, you can do it as long as you're not delaying the game for it, I guess. While the other team's ready, you can be like, yep.
So Goldfingers listening to our previous advice of moving the disc backwards to gain a bit more angle on the attack towards the end zone. And it pays off.
Yeah, the first cut towards the sideline was stifled, but it drew the force around and it opened up that inside channel for the eventual scoring pass. So it's another break for Goldfingers at the start of this second half, and they're creating some separation and some distance between themselves and their Belgian opponents now. It is 10-6, Goldfingers lead.
It will be very difficult for the XL Masters to keep up their mental game at this point. I do see their heads hanging quite low. I don't think they were quite prepared for the aggressiveness that Goldfingers brought to this game and that they keep on bringing in the second half as well.
I think we've seen enough from XL this game that we can't count them out, certainly. But at the moment, it is very much Goldfingers creating that gap rather than XL pulling it in.
I agree. But you're on the stream, your families and friends are watching. You might as well enjoy every minute of it. And I would like to see I would like them to take some some funny or fun choices in the game. Just, you know, get a little creative.
Open things up a little.
Exactly. Goldfingers with a bit of their zone, a bit of zone of their own. And so far, XL Masters seem to be pretty comfortable going through it. But now a high disc might go out. Ooh, and a greatest attempt, which wasn't really that bad. I think if Garnier would have tried to run in that general direction.
I think Garnier was calling it out, and I think you can see that he landed before he released the disc. But I love the fact that he tried anyway. You know, if you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, etc.
So Goldfingers very close to the end zone with another chance to add one more to the scoreboard.
Yeah, defender sags off into that lane, so they take the handler swing, moving it quickly outside the end zone. Ooh, a little outside in, and that is a little bit of toe drag swag there as well on the score. Balletic footwork almost from Daniel Jarausch.
So Fischer basically taking my advice instead of the opposing teams, doing a cheeky backhand inside out on the forehand side. I think he wasn't too worried about whether it was going to work out or not. He just feels the confidence of himself and his entire team, knowing that they have sort of broken the XL Masters now, and the resistance just is not there.
I think somewhat appropriately, given the tournament, it is the quote-unquote dad or barbecue backhand that has the score here, that backhand to the forehand side, taking advantage of the fact that because the disc moves so quickly, that force is out of position. So actually you can kind of lean and lower yourself into that backhand across the body.
Impressive stuff regardless. We really hope to see some more fun throws and creative plays today, as the wind is not too bad, not as bad as yesterday. And XL Masters find themselves on offense once again. We will see if Goldfingers will still try hard and put a lot of pressure to try to close this game early. De Winter on the sideline. Dump slides and doesn't get open. Now he's really stuck, but eventually gets it off. Vitala centers the disc finally to Watalet. When another high disc goes over the top, and instead of a save by the teammate, there's another defender in the way.
Yeah, Niels Lerdelek smuddles that one away. Or Lerdecker, I should say, excuse me. And here is the aforementioned Lerdecker. Finds an option short down the sideline for Thomas Berg, who is going to take a timeout that we saw Goldfingers use so effectively in the first half. And if they could punch it in after this temporary stoppage, you feel like it might be done and dusted.
And Goldfingers just taking off in an incredible fashion in the second half. You can see that XL Masters have their heads low, sort of frustrated with themselves and the way the second half has been going. Really hard to stop this quick Goldfingers offense, really hard to defend them. And when you're playing O yourself, just really hard to get open, really.
Yeah, we're going to take a little break while the teams have their timeout tactics talk, but don't go anywhere, because ULTI.TV returns after these messages.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back to a sunny Saturday morning here at the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. I have taken my jumper off. That's how warm it's become. Spengiris alongside Rahel Trasnerova. Masters open action for the first game of the day. Potsdam's Goldfingers looking to break here for a 12-6 lead on their opponents, the XL Masters of Brussels, Belgium. Just centering the disc immediately off the timeout. Low pass towards the sideline, tried to get it out quickly to Berger, but the option wasn't there. Gets some relief in the handler spot in the form of Lerdecker and just about sneaks that one around the defender. Now coming towards this near side, and he got a little bit casual with it. Just stuck out that right hand, tried to palm it into his body, but he fumbled.
A huge chance for the Belgians. Now going the other way, they finally find Nguyen in the middle. And a round forehand. Oh my God, we see the Goldfingers player just putting his face into his palms. About to cry. He feels so upset with himself for letting that one slip away. I don't think it's a huge deal. XL Masters still way behind.
Yeah, they needed that. My word, did XL need that, because if Goldfingers had punched in off the timeout, gone up 12-6, I think the curtains would have closed on this game, at least metaphorically, if not literally. But, you know, that drop there, XL Masters take advantage of their second opportunity at that point, and, you know, they're just keeping themselves in it. It's a long way off so far, but they're not completely out of reach, even if not yet within touching distance.
And I'm going to go ahead and give them a little cheer, because I'm already receiving pictures of the stream in my team chat, where all of our teenager teammates, teenager boys, are just, you know, drooling over the haircut. I can't have that. So let's go, XL Masters. Show off that you can beat the mullet.
You tried to fight the mullet, but the mullet was too strong.
So one of the few important points, I think there's still time to break the Goldfingers, so but XL Masters really will need to work super hard.
They set up in that hex shape again to begin. Cruces in that hat position clears out to open up the middle of the field, and we're now getting rocking and rolling and moving in motion. Here's Saibka. He's got the open swing, and he should always take the open pass. That's the principle, the fundamental. Defender's fallen over, so taking advantage to move that quickly. Erlich dishes it off to Cruces.
We see a bit more communication from the Belgians regarding the force to coordinate themselves.
It looks like they're trying to force middle here, just trying to keep it funneled down the inside portion of the field.
Yes. Now a nice poach. Doesn't get the D though. And a high grab from Goldfingers.
Yeah, comfortably made by Becker, making that a lot easier than it would have been for me, certainly. The play is probably a good deal shorter than he is. Goes off to Becker. Trying to squeeze that one round the outside. Still not quite in the end zone. And that forced middle, well, it prevented that shot round the outside. But Erlich is wide open in the centre of the end zone. I doubt he'll have an easier catch for a goal this weekend, and it's 12-7. I like that, again, they're trying different things to try and disrupt the rhythm here. That time going force middle, but Goldfingers' offense dealt with it admirably.
I think they have tried force middle before, but this time it was a bit more coordinated and communicated better. So I think they actually did a really good job. But just right outside of the end zone, it seems like they just became out of breath a little bit. You know, it was just what we're talking about. They're not a huge difference. It's just these little things that piled up together turn into this 5-point difference in the scoreboard. Almost 60 minutes into the game, Goldfingers still up over the Belgian XL Masters from Brussels, a team of many nations and many skills who find themselves on offense once again. We have Italia, the Finnish import, working with Sus.
I will say that with the kind of the short ponytail and the beard, he looks very Finnish.
De Winter. Oh, and a deep shot is there. He's got it. We heard it from the sideline before it happened on the screen. An important hold for XL Masters.
Yeah, Gattinol with the grab in the end. It's there's that old sort of mantra about same third hugs. You know, you don't want to try and squeeze those shots down the sideline because you don't give yourself a huge margin for error. If it's too far on one side, well then it's out of the side of the pitch and you can't do anything. And if it fades over the other shoulder, you can invite those defenders in from the back. But actually, he rips this, does Vitala, and he absolutely nails it.
Yeah, the receiver didn't make it easy for Vitala with the corridor that he was throwing into.
It's almost like you'd see that indoor style coat hanger or 7-cut where you go to one corner,
Right.
you get that communicative fake, and then you cut back towards the other side to open things up a little bit. But if it's open at the first opportunity and you can throw it, why not? Why not throw it? And boy, could Vitala throw it.
So another defensive attempt from XL Masters.
See Matthew Morvan walk past us with some very muddy knees and some kind of compression tights that have clearly been skinned at the knee.
Another zone look, opened up with a hammer, securely caught by Goldfingers.
Yeah, with the very enviable atmospheric conditions here, it's sunny, it's relatively still. It's not really going to be a problem for those overheads, but tried to sneak that one through, and brilliant heads-up defense there from XL through Sven van der Stappen.
Wonderful interception, and that's just the boost that XL Masters needed. But I think Goldfingers are more than ready to give them a hard time on defense, and they are stuck in the corner of their own end zone. So,
on a side note, Sven van der Stappen is a really fun name to say. Big, expansive swing, and again it's the pressure from Cruces. Those footsteps in the ears of the receiver. Goldfingers picking up on the end zone line now, and happy to go backwards. Fisher. Still count. Gets high from a Goldfingers perspective at 4. And now they're trying to squeeze it up the line. It could have gone, but they don't really like it. And now the still count is rising, so they have to jam it in the jam hole. But if you throw it hard enough, it's always open for 13-8.
what an excellent last-second decision there. That was very impressive. That inside backhand went almost horizontal with the end zone line. We'll have a look at that again. Wow. And a great catch. Despite the pressure, and the XL Masters again leaving the field with heads hanging low.
They did really well to generate that turn. It's going to be so frustrating for them that from the first pass they just give it right back in brilliant field position.
Van der Stappen did a really good job with that D there. Did you know he was a director?
Interesting.
Isn't that nice? What is he directing?
I wonder. Yeah, played for other teams in Belgium like Jet Set from Leuven, and he likes playing Ultimate because it's you know, it's mixed and it's fair with self-referees, and that is a mission that we at ULTI.TV can fully get behind.
Sass on the sideline, trying to work around the Goldfingers zone. Now they find someone in the middle. Morvan looking for his teammate as Goldfingers transition. Nice movement to De Winter. Vitala. Back to Gatineau. And Gatineau steps around for the last pass of this point and finds Carnat.
It was clean, it was precise, it was clinical.
And it was what they need to keep doing if they want to have a shot at these breaks to get back in the game. 9-13 doesn't look, you know, undoable.
No, we've seen it on multiple occasions that until you score that last point, the game's not over. But you feel like it, you know, you don't want to leave it all to do at the end because you give yourself no margin for error there if you're getting a replay of that scoring pass. Yeah, you want to see if you can start that comeback a little bit earlier. But they're running out of time to do it. Having said that, Goldfingers only need 2 points to win here.
I am already excited my tactical little self is excited about what the XL Masters are going to bring to this point defensively.
You've got those gears turning in your brain.
And it's going to be a zone.
Hey, you got what? Right.
Yeah, interesting again. You mentioned that with the atmospheric conditions, maybe not the most conducive weather to playing zone. Goldfingers with this spread hex offense might be well placed to deal with it, but you know, sometimes you can catch them a little bit unaware, a little bit off guard, and you know, why not throw it at them?
I generally like it, especially for these situations where you have a super eager, fast, aggressive team that just to make them calm down and sort of stop, it could work. But obviously, once they realize that there's lots of space behind the second cup and they break through like that, you're screwed, to say the least.
Yeah, they got that blade over the top to sneak it down that far sideline that really broke things open. But then rather than, okay, we've beat it, can we score instantly? You've got that flood of players following, and it's just, I'll throw it to you and get a few yards, and you'll throw it ahead and get a few yards, and then we'll get it back and get a few yards. It's, you know, you're never really making passes that are particularly long at all. But because you're keeping the disc moving quickly, you know, you're making those safe, easy passes rather than thinking, oh, we've got it past the first line, now's the time to jack it. No, just keep it calm, keep it steady, and score to put yourself 1 point away from victory.
Yeah, given the Masters category, I would think that all of these players are experienced enough to realize quickly the change of pace and adapt to it. So another offensive try for the Belgians. Two players now meeting on the sideline. One of them gets it. Gatineau wants the deep, doesn't take it. A pick call downfield will interrupt the play.
Everyone's just going to get reset back in their positions.
Gatineau finds Morvan. Morvan to Sneijderov. Back to Gatineau. Gatineau with a huge break to the winter.
Scoring its way across the field.
Batelet. Vitala. Belgians keeping their composure in the last third of the field.
Fake the hammer there, but decided maybe not quite yet.
They're making good space in the end zone. Seems like there's lots of places to throw it into. But another pick will stop the play yet again.
Yeah, they've got 3 handlers back at the moment, and those handler marks, they're sitting off a little bit to try and just, even if they're not directly in that line, they're in the peripheral vision, they're in that, you know, they're making you think about it and take that split second to holster it.
It's a very flat mark. Oh, here it is. Just an easy score. Maybe some confusion among the defenders, who was taking who, or else somebody was meant to call it violation. Not sure, but regardless.
This is the risk when you frequently, you know, you switch, you take spaces, that if there's a blow and switch, someone looks wide open and you do feel like a chump. Let's not. And it sometimes it looks so much worse because often they are so wide open. But it doesn't matter if someone's, you know, wide open or slightly open as long as they score. So sometimes you've got to be, okay, well, that didn't work, fine. Why did it not work? What did we get wrong communication-wise? What did we not say? What did we not do? What did we not pick up? Still got to stick kind of with the process.
Also, I feel like the stoppage actually worked to the advantage of XL Masters. They're in front of the end zone and allowed them to, again, compose themselves and have that little bit of break. And then they basically just needed one cut to make it to the end zone. And this time they come out in a match D.
But everyone's a little bit at 6s and 7s as Goldfingers look to put in this final point, sneaking it up the line there. Going back to Cruces again, the stall count staying low, never higher than a couple of seconds, but the run through D comes there from XL.
Nguyen, was it? This was a beautiful throw, but it was just expected from the D as well. And now XL Masters will go the other way. Oh my god, and a misread disc. I think Sven van der Stappen expected something way more precise. And that's just unfortunate. Gold.
Goldfingers will get another opportunity. Sorry, Rachel.
It's okay.
They should be underneath to Fischer, a little bit low. Stoops to make the catch. He's trying to belt it for the back of the end zone. To finish in style. And Jeroen Julie does the honours, catches for the goal, and that will do it this game, with Goldfingers taking a well-earned 15-10 victory here over Belgium's XL Masters.
I did not even realize that was a game point, Benji, but you could feel the confidence in Fischer's throw. He just knew that there was absolutely no reason why he shouldn't put that up with the separation his teammate had in the end zone. And he took the chance to close the game quickly. And just like that, that's the end of the first game of our stream.
Yeah, Goldfingers, it just felt when with the disc they had that Midas touch that XL Masters couldn't manage. And I tell you what, it's a victory for mullets over sensible hairstyles, which I know pleases you very greatly. So that's it. We are moving over to the Mixed Masters division coming up now on ULTI.TV. We're into bracket play for the mixed, and it is a pre-quarter final with London's Thundering Herd taking on Sugar Mix from Stuttgart in Germany. So, for Rahel Toshnarova, my name is Benjamin Rees, and don't go anywhere because our coverage of the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships continues on the other side.
Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.